Hi, and welcome to another episode of Martinet Cuisine, where we aim to show you different Goan, Anglo-Indian, or East Indian cuisines that have been passed down from generation to generation. Now, on today's episode, what we're going to be showing you is the perfect Goa sausage. This is the sausage that you can eat anytime and anywhere and is loved all over Goa. It is perfect sitting on a hot beach or in some nice bread as a lovely, lovely sandwich. So let's quickly go over our ingredients for our Goa sausage. Of course, we have our pork here, which is going to be 65-35, which means 65% meat, 35% fat to make sure that the moisture levels are maintained. We have pepper, we have garam masala, we have coriander and cumin mixed together. We have some turmeric, red chili powder, ginger, garlic. We have palm vinegar, feni, and we also have liquid smoke, because in this case, we are not going to smoke these sausages. We're just going to actually make it part of the marinade that we mix the pork with. So now we have here is our pork. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure to cut it. Now, when you're cutting this pork, you want to make sure that you cut it nice and evenly. What I mean by that is you want to cut these into 1/4-inch cubes. The reason for this is it's going to make it much easier afterwards when we cure the pork overnight. So just go ahead and I'll show you a couple of pieces here of the size. Okay, now as you can see here, I've got these pieces in about a 1/4 inch in size. What you want to do is make sure that they're roughly uniform and even so that when you pass it through, you can see everything comes out and it's all cured evenly. Okay, so what I did last night was I cut the pork and I cured it overnight. Now you can see here these pieces are cut into the 1/4 inch cubed. Now, when I cured this, I cured it per kilo 2 tablespoons of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of saltpeter. Now, you want to make sure when you do mix it all together that you get it through evenly and that you weigh it down overnight to press as much of the water out. You want the pork to be dried through and evenly cured so that there's no excess moisture when you do mix everything together. Now we're going to go ahead and start making our masala. What we're going to do is just mix everything into the mixer here, and that's the best way. So let's dump in some of this. I'm going to dump in our coriander and cumin mix. Then our turmeric and chili powder can go in together. Be careful not to breathe that in. Now our pepper. And then our ginger and garlic will go in. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add in, of course, Goa's favorite liqueur, feni. Just going to go ahead and dump some of this in. Oops. Make sure I don't add too much. Yeah, you never know. You never know how much is enough. Keep going. All right, that should be enough. You can definitely smell the feni coming through, and that's really freaking strong. I'm going to add vinegar. I'm going to pour some in here. Okay, so that's a little bit in there. And now, because we're not going to smoke these sausages, traditionally you would take them and you would stuff them and then you would smoke them. But because we're going to put these into jars, what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of liquid smoke. Now you got to be careful here. The liquid smoke is pretty strong, but we're going to add it in here to give us that smoke flavor when we put it into the jars. That's in. So there you go. You can see all of that's in there. Now the feni is going to come through very, very strong. All right, so let's put this on. I'm going to give this a quick blend here. We can see that the masala is very dry at this stage, so I'm going to add more vinegar to make it mix a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and add some in there. Now you got to be careful, the vinegar is strong, so you're going to do this to your preference. But the measurements that we use are going to be down below in the comments. We'll mix this up. When you're making the masala, you want to make sure that you don't make it too liquidy. You want it a bit on the drier side because there is going to be liquid coming out of the pork as well. Make sure you don't add water to the mixture. Add vinegar, but keep it in balance. Add vinegar to make it smooth for your processor to work. I think this is good then. So now we're on to the stage where we need to mix our pork and our masala together. Now you want to do this slowly and in batches to make sure that the masala is mixed through evenly. So just go ahead and put some of this in here. Grab some of my spice. Throw some in. Mix it through. So as you can see, I'm taking my time and taking an effort to make sure that every piece is evenly coated. Now, of course, the more it's evenly coated, the better it's going to taste in the end, especially when we stuff it into the jars. So there's a piece here. I'm going to add a little bit more. I dump my masala in. So as you can see, when I was talking about making sure it was dry, you don't want it too dry, but you want it not a liquid. Now that the meat has been mixed through with the masala, there's no easy way to do this. We're just going to stuff it into our jar. So just grab a handful and throw it in. What you want to do is make sure you squish it down and compact it as much as you can. That is going to make it easier and taste better later on. Of course, you also want to make sure that you get a jar where your hand comes out and it fits in there. Last thing we need you to do is end up in the hospital with a jar stuck on your hand. And keep going until this jar is nice and filled. Okay, so as you can see, I did stuff the rest of it into the jar. Now I do have some left over, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to stuff into casings and dry for a little bit, which is going to end up looking like this. Now Goa sausage is a perfect dish. It does take a little bit of time and a little bit of planning, but it is something that is amazing and worthwhile eating. We will be showing you in the next little bit a few different recipes of what you can do with Goa sausage, so do tune in for that. And also remember, if I can cook this, you can cook this.